2.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to Adulting with Riley and Grace. This is our second episode, and usually when people think of adulting, they think of like finances and stuff like that, like taxes, housing, all of that. But I feel like adulting also has to do with maintaining relationships. People who are older are usually seen as more mature, and so that's why I wanted to talk about, because I feel like this ties in to what like our whole podcast is about. And yeah, also I just like talking about like relationship advice and stuff like that, and I really like the psychology aspect on that. That's why I'm minoring in psychology.
You go, Grace.
I know, thank you.
You go.
Thank you. Shucks. But why I wanted to talk about this specifically today was because I had to do a presentation for my advanced interpersonal communications course, and I was the only one. So it was originally supposed to be like a group presentation, and so we had like an online sign-up sheet where we can sign up for different chapters that talk about different things. There was like communicating hurt, adolescent to parent abuse, parental abuse. And then there was one that caught my eye that no one else signed up for. I also signed up really late, but we don't gotta talk about that. It's called Responses to Relational Transgression. And I did a presentation over it. And I'm actually kind of proud of myself because it had to be 6 to 8 minutes. And I was at 7 minutes. Alone, mind you. So I felt very proud of myself. But I wanted to talk about this today because I feel like it ties in with relationship advice. So I'm going to give a brief like summary over what I talked about in class, and then we can discuss it together. So relational transgression is violations of relationship norms, to put in simple terms. And the chapter didn't really talk about like, the professor brought up like, oh, sharing location could be like a relationship norm. This basically just talks about, like, infidelity, deception, like, a lack of support, like, not lying, not cheating, those, like, basic relationship norms. And so that would be the transgression. And then some examples: cheating, threatening cheating, lying, inconsiderate behavior, like shutting down your partner's character or opinions. And there's 3 types of responses to the transgression. There is negative, constructive, and coping/support responses. The choice of responses depends on the severity of the transgression. For example, such as cheating is going to require more long-term and sincere restorative actions. And this is in the case that the partner doesn't decide to end the relationship completely. So with negative responses, there is punishment, which is responding to the relational transgression with like similar actions such as revenge. So if the partner like ignored boundaries that they have set, then the other person might ignore those boundaries to get back at them. This can also do with the silent treatment, which is like distancing. I kind of count that as part of punishment. This is creating emotional or physical space, or, you know, in some cases ending the relationship entirely. And then there is refusing to forgive, which is holding grudges, refusing to move past the transgression, continued resentment, so like constantly bringing up what the partner did. And then there is emotional outbursts, so expressing severe anger, shock, or sadness, which is like just like could like scream at them, would be an emotional outburst. And then there is constructive responses. The first one is forgiveness. These don't really go in order. This is just like how I wrote them. There's not like a specific like steps. Forgiveness, letting go of grudges and restoring trust. And then there is apology. This is on the transgressor's side. They take responsibility, express remorse, and attempt to make amends and repair. And then there is forgiving communication. This is either explicit, nonverbal, or conditional. Conditional is like language like, if you do this, then. It's not usually a manipulation tactic. This is more of like, let's say the partner like cheated. They might say, if you agree to go to couples therapy with me, then, like, together, then we can work this out. It's not like, oh, if you don't buy me this, if you stop hanging out with, like, it's not that. Not always. Sometimes it is, but this is more of, like, positive, constructive responses. And then there is reintegrative shaming, which is disapproving of the act while maintaining respect and aiming for change. And then lastly, the coping and support responses. The first one is third-party support. I could not talk today. Seeking help / advice from friends or family to manage the stress or hurt caused by the transgression. So they might go and ask, like, oh, what should I say in this? What should I do? What is there to do? Should I leave? Should we try and do something to restore? It's basically talking about that. Mm-hmm. And then there is reframing. This is not a good thing at all. This is changing how the transgression is viewed to reduce its impact. For example, they might say, oh, it wasn't that serious, or I'm overreacting, to minimize the hurt that they feel. Not good at all. Yeah. And then this last one is direct addressing. This is confronting the partner, refusing to tolerate blame shifting, and insisting on discussing the issue at hand. And then we talked about, like, modernizing it, but I feel like that's not really that important. I mean, we could talk about that. This basically, it talks about, so I put, how would someone go about addressing a digital long-distance relationship? But this can include, like, texting partners who, like, see each other in person. Mm-hmm. So there's also, like, slang or jokes that can be, like, misinterpreted. And then there's also different texting styles. Like, this could also be a punishment, being dry on purpose, but also some people just text like that. I know you just text like that. Like, you'll put okay. You won't put okay, you'll just put okay. And to someone else, me specifically, that could mean, oh, you're mad at me. Yeah. Or adding a period. Yeah. That also, like, could mean, oh, you're mad at me. Yeah. So that can get misinterpreted. It doesn't always mean, like, oh, I'm mad at you. It just is how the other person might view it. And then there's also, like, the thumbs up emoji, or, like, abbreviating, like, affectionate phrases like I love you, putting ILY or IMY. For me, in my opinion, that just kind of takes it away. Like, it's not sincere. Yeah, it's not sincere. It just seems very, like, robotic. It's not that hard to just put I love you. But that's kind of what I went over, and I feel like a lot of people, in my experience especially, like, texting styles is a big one, because, like, I text way differently than how you text. You text with, like, proper punctuation. Then I'll be like, are you mad at me? But also, I just have, but, like, you're not. That's just how you type.
No, I mean, my undergraduate degree was in English, mm-hmm. specifically technical writing. Yeah. It's, the way I see it is putting that effort in mm-hmm. to the punctuation is actually kind of one of the ways that I kind of try and show people mm-hmm. that I am interested. Mm-hmm. I know that might seem strange.
I mean, that's just how you type. I mean, we're just different in that sense. For me, I put okay, AY, because just the okay just seems like scary to me.
It's too stoic for you.
And I won't add a period because that just seems like scary.
Too formal.
Yeah, it's like like I'll use, like, proper punctuation like that when I'm writing an email. Sure. When I'm texting, like, friends, I won't be like, I'll be there soon, and then put a period, because that's how I read it. When people put a period, I'll be like, I'm on my way, like that. Yeah.
I think it's heavily context dependent.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So you've got your friends that you're loose around. Mm-hmm. You know, kind of casual misspellings. Yeah. Not using punctuation. Yeah. You know, that's forgivable. Mm-hmm. Honestly, probably even expected. Mm-hmm. But I know that I have friends who would be like, because I'm just very intentional with the way that I talk to them and message them and everything like that. They would genuinely think something had happened to me if I had if I start texting the way that somebody else.
The same goes with like me. If I started, excuse me,
that's all right.
I'm still kind of sick. My allergies are acting up. It's like cold inside, and then it's like a perfect temperature outside, and then tomorrow's gonna be like 30 degrees probably. Allergies are messing up. But if I just started talking like how you would, like how other people would talk, I guess like they call it like dry texting, my friends would think that I'm mad at them. But that's just how like we formed our different like connections, relationships.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You just kind of have to know. There's not really a good way to do it other than to just learn about that person and their tendencies.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think there's a shortcut or better way to do it.
Yeah. Of course. But I really like talking over this chapter, and I feel like some of these, I feel like the negative responses, though, it really depends on like what the other person did. That's just my opinion, though. Like, for example, like punishment, like, or like revenge. I feel like if it was like a small issue, like, oh, they called me like an idiot as a joke, I don't think you should like hold a grudge over that or, you know, blow up on them.
Yeah.
Of course.
I think that's really interesting because in the context of adult relationships, I don't really think most people think about punishments.
Yeah.
Like, you think about, like, parent to children.
Yeah.
Punishment relationship. Like, maybe a boss and
a worker.
Like a subordinate worker. Like, maybe that's a punishment. You know, maybe you could see, but, like, as a general rule, adults are not, like, punishing each other.
Yeah.
Generally in
like healthy relationships, they wouldn't. These are like unhealthy responses. Okay. Which I like talking about these because I feel like, yeah, you're right. It's usually when people think of like punishment, they don't think of like partner to partner. They think of like maybe like you said, a boss to like a worker or a parent to child, stuff like that. But I feel like we should like talk about this more because like it really isn't common. Yeah. But that's all I have for this. What do you think?
I think that it's funny as you were kind of talking about all of it. I was kind of running through my head the number of adults even.
I know I did kind of run through this kind of quickly.
So. No, but and I have taken that class. It's just been a long time.
I love this class.
But the number of adults even who don't have any kind of interpersonal communication skills or knowledge is actually it's really high. Yeah. So it calls into question, at least for me, what does it mean to be an adult with like really good like communication skills?
I think not punishing, not refusing to forgive, like distancing is also like a big one, because I've been in like relationships where like the punishment was distancing. It was like not responding or avoiding, stuff like that. But I think like if you're able to communicate effectively, like, hey, when you did this, it really bothered me. Can we find some way to work around this? But I also think like having checkups in the relationship, like obviously not like every week, because I understand that can get like really pushy, like, oh, is there anything that I did? But maybe if y'all are having like, if both of y'all have bad communication issues, that could be like a solution, like have semi-weekly checkups, like, hey, are we okay? Is there anything that I've been doing that's been bothering you? Can we talk about this? Stuff like that. But also a lot of relationships, this is like a big thing for me, is communication, because like I can't read anyone's mind and they can't read mine.
Yeah.
If we could, that would be a lot easier, but sadly we can't. Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because psychologically speaking, they did this experiment. Actually, I'm gonna talk about this experiment because this is a fun one. Mm-hmm. So they found out that it was about 4 or 5 years old, psychologically speaking, when children broke out of this mindset of realizing that not everybody was them. Mm-hmm. So they had a little like plushie, and they said, "Oh, well, the plushie can't like see or hear anything right now," and they would have somebody just do a whole bunch of like actions, and then they would ask the kid, well, did the plushie see or hear that thing? You know, and the kid would be like, oh yeah, of course it did. And they're like, but we told you that it couldn't see or hear it. And the kids would always say, well, yeah, but I saw and heard it, so that must mean obviously like this. So they're like, they're taking what they see and experience and stuff, and they're projecting that onto other people, essentially. And they think that everybody is thinking the same way that they are because, you know, we all have our own individual experiences. It's not until we get older that we start realizing that people are having their own thoughts constantly, and that it's not us who are like putting the thoughts in their head. I think that's sometimes why people think that, you know, you should be able to read my mind, right? Or why I think some people think that communication is, you know, just really, really difficult, because I think that they anticipate that, well, you should just know what I think because I'm thinking it, and that means that you should be thinking it too. It's like, that's not it at all. No.
We're all unique, and I like that. But also it is really hard to communicate what is like wrong, or like what is upsetting you, because it's also like finding the right language, like without shifting blame. That's why, you know, there's a lot of I feel statements, like I feel like this when this happens. But a lot of people, like especially if they've gone through like trauma where it wasn't safe to communicate that, they just won't. And they will just either use like body language or subtly hint at it, which also isn't healthy. But it is a response. It's like I'm sure everybody knows at least some version of the joke of like, well, why aren't they picking up my signals? And it's like it's the same kind of thinking, like like, why can't they tell I'm upset? Why aren't they saying anything?
Because it's on their mind, it must be on everybody else's. It's like, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Exactly. That's completely true. I've had relationships, and this can also count for not just like romantic relationships, but relationships with friends too.
It definitely counts with friends.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like if anything counts with friends, then it mostly definitely counts on relationships. But there's also another presentation is we went over communicating hurt. And a lot of people don't know, like, what makes them upset, or like I said, like, how to communicate that. A lot of people are also, like, people pleasers. Like, they don't want to, start problems.
Yeah.
Which can also stem from trauma. A lot of the, like, unhealthy, like, I guess, ways that people either communicate or don't communicate, or why they act a certain way, is mostly related to trauma, either in, like, a household or, like, past relationships, where they were like, okay, this is just what's gonna happen, like, my voice isn't gonna be heard no matter what, or this is the only way I can get people to listen to me, let's just keep doing that. A lot of that requires therapy. Almost, like, all of it requires therapy.
Yep.
Why'd you raise your hand?
Because you're just reiterating things that I'm literally learning.
Yeah.
Like, as somebody who's, like, actually learning about therapy and therapeutic practices.
Yeah.
Like, you learn about all sorts of archetypes.
Maybe this correlates to, or, like, is somewhat related, but I also wanted to touch on attachment styles. I'm really into these. I'm really big on these because they are true. At least I personally believe them. So there's, I think, 3 unhealthy types. There's 4 attachment styles. There's 3 unhealthy ones. One is secure. You can talk freely. Right. You're not scared of, like, walking on eggshells. It's secure. There is anxious attachment, where it's like, let me look it up, because I did do a lot of research on this, but it's kind of hard to, like, alliterate? What is that word? Alliterate? What is it? There's, like, it's hard to put it into words. I forgot what the word is. So, secure attachment, they feel comfortable with intimacy and independence, and they trust their partners and have healthy communication in all relationships. This also goes for romantically and platonically friendships. And then there is anxious preoccupied, also called just anxious attachment. It's a deep desire for closeness, but it's combined with a fear of abandonment and rejection. So it leads to insecurity and a need for constant reassurance. So they might ask, are you mad at me? Are you going to leave me? Please don't leave me. Stuff like that. And then there is dismissive avoidant attachment. They value independence and self-sufficiency, and it can lead to emotional distance and avoidance of intimacy and vulnerability. They're often seen as careless and heartless, and then anxious attachments are often seen as, like, needy and overwhelming. I don't think any of the unhealthy attachments are bad people. It just stems from traumatic childhoods, mostly. Yeah. And then there is another one. It's disorganized. This is anxious and avoidant into one. Right. So it creates, like, a push-pull. And they desire closeness, but also feeling it, and fearing it, and it can result in erratic behavior. So a quote or, like, a statement would be like, oh, I hate you, don't leave me, though. Yeah. And I really wanted to touch on that because it is true. I have seen it a lot. But all of this requires therapy. Like, all of the unhealthy attachments require therapy. It's something like, it's a very low percentage of people that have that disorganized attachment. Yeah, that's, like, the most, like, a very low, I think, like, I want to say 5%. Yeah. I think I remember reading about that. If not lower than that, from what I remember. Yeah. But it's something like that's a very low percentage, and it's a weird, it's a kind of strange one too. Yeah, it's like a push-pull. It can be very, very, I guess, like, it can be very overwhelming for the person on the receiving end of that. When you think about it, it's inherently contradictory. Yeah. Because if we're talking about, you just said, I hate you, but also we're not breaking this off. Yeah. That's like, that's a very strange. It's bad. That's a very strange
place to be at.
Like, maybe one day they can, like, really need that closeness, and then another day they can be like, no, get away from me. It often is, like, it's like a fear of closeness, it's a fear of vulnerability, and it's also a fear of being abandoned. So they don't know, like, which, like, 2 buttons. I thought it was on, like, an Instagram reel, and I was like, that's so true. It's like, which button to press? Oh, should I push people away in order to avoid being abandoned, or should I be really clingy in order to avoid being abandoned?
Right.
Most of, like, all 3 of the unhealthy ones, the disorganized, the avoidant, the anxious, they all have a fear of abandonment, which, like I said, stems from traumatic childhoods.
What's really interesting too is that that need for acceptance, so the opposite of abandonment, essentially, actually kind of starts growing when we developmentally become teenagers, and it never really, like, plateaus.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're constantly afraid of being alone.
So we're social creatures.
Yeah.
Humans are social.
Yeah,
animals.
exactly. And you see this, you know, it's really prevalent in all of the stereotypical high school settings and college settings that you see, where everyone's got their own group that they have to start the cliques, right?
The clique.
That they have to
clique.
Huh?
Clique or clique?
I think it's a clique.
Okay.
I think it's a clique.
It doesn't matter, clique.
But everybody starts having to, you know, even the outcasts are a community of sorts. And that never really, that drive to find our group, it never really stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, what's that one? Forgot. It's like a it's like the basic needs, the self-fulfillment needs, like stuff.
Oh,
like
the hierarchy of needs.
The hierarchy of needs. Yeah. And, like, at the top,
I believe,
like,
it's Maslow.
Maslow's hierarchy. I saw another one when I was in the psychology class, and I was like, that's weird. But I think it was like a flipped triangle. I can't remember what it was called, but, like, the top is self-fulfillment. And, like, that's, like, the main thing that we're all trying to get to. But also, I feel like, this is just in my opinion, no one's ever gonna feel, like, self-fulfilled. You know what I mean?
Do you mean in a very existential sense? Like,
yeah, I guess so.
Tell me more.
Like, 'cause, like you said, we're always trying to find, like, a group that we fit in. But when does that stop? It doesn't.
No. No. And what's kind of cruel is that you can fall out of favor with people and fall back into favor with people that you fell out of favor with before.
Yeah.
It's kind of always shifting.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's always in flux. I think that expands to something more broadly, which is that, kind of trying to tie this back to adulting somehow.
Yeah. Well, I feel like all of this is really, like, adulting. Like,
this is some hardcore stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
And, like, psychology ties in with, like, everything, but with, like, relationships, it's also, like, adulting. 'Cause, like, when you're younger, you're still, like, obviously figuring things out, but, you know, adults, they're usually more, I guess, like, mature in a sense, in any, like, sense that they physically can be or emotionally can be.
They've had more time to kind of play with all the variables. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Of course.
It is really funny if anybody has a kind of an older person in their life that they talk to. You know, I hope that older person in their life is constantly reaffirming to people younger than them that they are actually very kind of confused and they don't know what they're doing either. 'Cause I think it can be really frustrating for younger people just getting into adulthood to feel like, when does the self-fulfillment start? When am I going to feel like I know what I'm doing? And it's
is
like,
that when you're middle age? Is that when you're in college? Is that when you're 80 years old?
It's like,
see, that's what
kid, never, it never, like, because you're always kind of growing.
Yeah, of course.
And changing. Sorry.
That's what I mean. That's what I meant with, like, when are you going to feel self-fulfilled?
Right.
So, yeah.
And I think it changes from time to time as well.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, there are some people who, just like happiness, fulfillment is not necessarily a permanent state.
Yeah.
So you have a moment of happiness, but the happiness isn't really special if you're always up. You have to kind of go back down.
Yeah.
To a sort of baseline, and then come back up into that happiness again.
Yeah.
Fulfillment is not really that interesting to people if we just crest up into it and we just
go right back down.
Well, if you just stay there, what's special about it?
Yeah.
If we can just kind of stay at this like super high level of fulfillment, it's funny because some of the most, or actually I should say the least fulfilled people are the most successful.
Yeah.
Which, again, we're talking about a whole bunch of like strange, like paradoxical things that don't make any sense, but it's true. The more fulfilled you are, you don't have to be unsuccessful, but what I am saying is that it's not necessarily how successful you are that defines that fulfillment.
Yeah. Like you don't have to be like, oh, I'm a billionaire, I'm fulfilled.
Sure.
It can be like emotional. It can be like, oh, this is my personal like long-term goal for myself to feel fulfilled. It's completely independent from wealth. Yeah. Not for everybody. Because everyone's different.
Everyone is different. But it is funny that we were talking about finances on the last episode.
I feel like
and this is kind of a rebuttal of that.
But I feel like it really does, like, yeah, you don't have to be like a billionaire. Like, of course, like, money is a huge thing in America. Taxes are also a huge thing. But you don't, I mean, maybe that is like your self-fulfillment. Like, I want to have a lot of money. And that's good on you. But the self-fulfillment is, like, different for everyone. It is kind of ironic that we were talking about finances on the last episode.
Yeah.
But I also did want to, like, talk about this, like, relationship stuff, because it does tie into adulting. With, like, when people think of adult, they think of, like, finances, housing. Of course, that's important, but so is maintaining healthy relationships while in adulthood. Yeah. So that's what I think.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty good. Do we have anything else that we want to cover on this episode?
I think we did cover a lot.
Okay.
I think we covered we covered what I wanted to talk about, which was the attachment styles, what I presented in class, which kind of made me really want to talk about this, because we do see this in, like, modern world. Maybe it's not, like, as, like, in your face, but, like, some, like, small things could be, like, distancing. It could be punishment. It could be forgiving communication. It could be the shaming. It's not, like, in your face specifically, but it still does happen. And it's still something people will have to deal with, especially in adulthood.
It can be helpful to put a label on all of that and see like, oh, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think some people don't think some people are able to kind of
realize what they're doing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. And then there's also a lot of people that refuse to accept that that's what they're doing. But a lot of people, it's just not like, they're not like with malicious intent, oh, I'm going to do this. It's just like, it just kind of happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's all I really wanted to cover today.
I hope you got an A.
I hope I did too.
Oh, you don't know yet?
I don't know yet. I'm kind of nervous, but the main thing I was worried about was the time. But I feel like I had...
It sounds like you got a pretty good handle on it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's sweet of you. But, yeah. Was there any... I feel like any advice we wanted to give our listeners before we skedaddle on?
I think the coming of maturity is definitely a very, very interesting tightrope in what you talked about, which is that maintaining kind of who you are and what you want to do, your sense of autonomy, and kind of trying to interact with everybody else in a way that kind of,
keeps yourself.
You keep yourself like whole while also not, burning any bridges.
Yeah, of course.
'Cause it's we don't want that.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah. It's hard to know, I think, how to do that. It comes with a lot of awareness and being honest with yourself.
Oh, definitely.
More than anybody else.
I feel like people don't want to know that they're doing something wrong, mostly. But, realizing like, oh, this is what I'm doing. I need to find steps to, I guess, stop doing that, or at least like regress it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's growth. Is not completely avoiding mistakes,
taking accountability for your actions.
Exactly.
That's a huge thing.
So what have you got?
For advice? I think that I'm going to always say this: communication is a really, really big thing in all aspects of our lives. Not just with relationships, but with like workplaces. It can be with finances too, I think. Like if you need finance lawyer, there's finance lawyers, right? People helping you with your money. There's like,
I think of them as, you've got primarily lawyers and you've got accountants, that's what it's called. You do have financial advisors. That's a whole thing. We should talk about that sometime.
We should. Next episode.
Yeah.
Yes. But just communication is a big part of your life. I know like communication is very, very hard in all sense, but it really does help to be a healthy communicator in the long run, and I firmly believe that. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being my co-host. I say that like you're a guest. You're my co-host.
Thanks for reminding me about all that.
Of course.
It's been a while since I took that class.
I love this class. And I love that we're going over stuff like this. It's good. But
okay.
That's all I have for today. Thank y'all for joining us on the second episode of Adulting with Grace and Riley. And we hope to see y'all in the next one. Bye.